very first showcase, and we have a very special guest. Please welcome Asmaa Hussein from Ruqayyah's Bookshelf.
Thank you guys for having me on the show.
Thank you so much for coming. We're so excited. Yeah. So just to begin, could you speak to our audience a little bit about yourself and tell them what you do?
Sure. So my name is Asmaa Hussein. I am the founder of Ruqayyah's Bookshelf, which is a publishing company that publishes stories for Muslim kids. So stories that have Muslim protagonists in the books. So I got into this field of work just kind of on a whim. I had this idea for a story, which ended up being actually one of my bestsellers. Just had this idea for a story, and I thought, why don't I, find an illustrator for it and publish it just for fun, just as a fun project, not even like seriously. But I did it, and I found that I really enjoyed it. So I decided to keep going.
Yeah,
which is kind of a fun way to start an initiative. You just kind of decide, hey, I have this idea, and then you keep going with it. But my background is English and sociology. That's what I studied in university, and I'm technically a social worker by study, but I'm not practicing right now. So Ruqayyah's Bookshelf is my baby right now, with my other baby, who's actually called Ruqayyah, and that's why it's Ruqayyah's Bookshelf.
Yeah. And so you started this more specifically for Ruqayyah, right? And then it kind of grew into sharing it with everybody else?
Sort of. So my aim is to publish books that I think my daughter would enjoy and that she would benefit from. So that's why I called it her bookshelf, because these are the kinds of books that I want on her bookshelf.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt there are actually a lot of great Islamic books for kids, or not even just Islamic books, but just books with Muslim characters. There's starting to be a lot.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, there was like nothing, or nothing good, at least, with some exceptions, of course. But I felt that when I was looking through books, there was just like an element of something that was missing, and I thought, I have these ideas, why don't I provide that?
Okay, so what would you say that element was that you feel?
I think just interesting stories. Like, I feel like a lot of books about Muslim kids are really Islamic, which is great, and that's fine. And some of my books have, like, Islamic themes.
Mm-hmm.
But just stories that in and of themselves are going to be interesting, that the kid is going to want to pick up and read many times.
Yeah. And how old is Ruqayyah?
She's 4 right now.
So you'd say most of your books that you have right now are in that age group, or?
Sort of. I recommend them for 4 and up.
Okay.
But I started reading them to my daughter when she was like 2.5,
Mm-hmm.
and she was fine with it. She loves books, so she didn't, have an issue with it. But in order to really grasp the stories and the concepts, I would say 4 up. And there's one book like about bullies. I'm saying about the 5th grade bullies. That one I would say maybe 5 or 6 up, just because the idea of bullying is a little bit advanced for like a kindergarten age. I feel like bullies is kind of a loaded word.
Mm-hmm.
So I personally I haven't read that book to my daughter in a very detailed way.
Okay, just so leaving some parts out.
Yeah.
I see.
Maybe I'm just being overprotective, I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, it's so awesome. So what are some of your greatest challenges finding Islamic educational resources? You said you tried to look for some first, and were there any things that you found first and then you tried to implement and then you came up with your own, or
you mean like other books?
Other books or
stuff?
Mm-hmm.
I did find a lot. There is a lot now, but even with what's out there, it's not always the best quality in terms of the story itself. They're kind of boring sometimes, or like they're really didactic. Like, you must say this and that, you must say, like those stories are, the kid will read it once, I find, or twice or 3 times, and not necessarily come back to it, or they won't understand how to implement it.
Okay.
Right, whereas stories that the kids are like genuinely interested in and they come back to over and over, they implement it in their lives without even realizing. Like, there's a mom who sent me a video of her son. He's like 3 years old or something, and he had memorized the story here. He memorized it, and he was like, trying to.
Your biggest fan.
He doesn't know how to read, but he was saying it word for word. I'm like, this kid has read the story so many times and he's enjoyed it.
Wow.
And like, they, even if like what comes out of it is just this idea of saying or like trusting in love, like those are important concepts.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you can achieve that with just a story or like a book that says you must say this and that before you eat, you must say this and that before you do such and such. Like it's more interesting.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
I don't mean to hate on other books because they are.
No,
they
I
are
feel
beneficial.
Yeah.
They are beneficial.
Sometimes, because kids, I feel today are growing up in a completely different era, and so approaching them is very different.
Yeah, and they have a lot higher standards of what they want and what they like, which is totally understandable because there's so much out there. So you want to be able to engage them.
Yeah.
Right?
What advice would you have for parents watching this? Because a lot of parents struggle with, especially as kids get older here, they struggle with the idea of the gap between them and their children. What are some things they should do or implement, you would say? I know you still have a 4-year-old and you have her under control for now. Hopefully
or
forever.
Now, for now.
Inshallah. But
like 50% under control, not really 100%.
They're kids, right? They can't always have them controlled 100%.
Yeah, I wish that I could.
Yeah, but what would you say is something that parents can do even from an early age? So like say it's a young mom just had a baby and she wants to ensure that her child grows up having that Islamic, those Islamic values.
Yeah. That's a huge question. That's like a huge question. I think just making sure that you're surrounding yourself and your children with good people, good environments, good programming. If you're a screen type of person, which I am, but like good books. Just like everything in your environment should be good, because everything enters like the ears of children and the minds of children and stays there, whether you recognize it or not. Like I was reading my daughter this story, and it had what's it called? Sheila the Brave. It's a very popular. He's a very good author, very popular author. Okay. And there's a part of the book where the main character is walking backwards, and then it just kind of part of the story. And then my daughter started walking backwards everywhere, and I would be like, "You're going to fall. You're going to hit your head on something." But when she saw it in the book, and she was like, "I must do this." It was like a thing. Like the character of the story is doing this, therefore I must also do it. There's no filter.
Wow.
I feel like as adults we have a filter, but kids do not have filters.
Yeah.
So you have to be really careful about what's coming into your child. Not that book was a bad influence. I just it's just an example of how kids they take everything very literally, especially as younger kids. So the people that they're around and the people that you're around as an adult, because obviously if you're around them, your child is around them. The books, the TV programming, whatever you expose your child to, you have to understand that that's going to become part of their identity.
Yeah.
Or it has a likelihood of becoming part of their identity. And also, I think you have to behave and act in a certain way, in the way that you want your child to behave when he or she grows up, right? Because you are their first role model. They're gonna take their personalities, their sensitivities, their peculiarities. A lot of that comes from you as parents, right? Whether you like that or not, but it's gonna come from you, right? You are your child's idol until they're I don't know.
It depends on the child,
right? Yeah. And even when they kind of hate you, they're still gonna do what you do. Just you almost don't realize it until you become an adult that you understand. Oh my God, I'm so much like my mom, or I'm so much like my dad. And then you pick up different things. And you're like, oh, I thought it was so different, but you're not.
Yeah.
Right? Which is interesting. So you have to be the person. You have to expect your child to be the person that you are now, and that's a lot of stress. So you yourself have to make sure that you are a good person, a generous person, a truthful person, like a gentle person, if you want your child to do that. And of course, all guidance comes from Allah.
Thank you.
Hopefully I can implement that with my own child.
Yeah. We'll see. All right, one last question. So what's your favorite, you would say, if you have one, hadith by the Prophet's time revolving around children? If you remember one.
You guys were going to test me.
No. It's just something, something that sticks out to you or you think about often.
You know what's interesting? Actually, a lot of the, I wish I had like specific names, but I can't remember them off the top of my head, but a lot of the companions were actually children
at
the time, and they were learning from the Prophet ﷺ, like as young children. Like I don't know how old, but they were young children. So there was a sense of like acceptance of children, whereas now we kind of almost push them away, like you're too young for certain things, right? But there are a couple of things that I always remember, like when the Prophet heard a baby crying in the masjid, he shortened his prayer. Without saying, "Oh, don't bring your children to the masjid" or anything. No, he heard it, so that means that the mother was there with her child, right? And then he made an adjustment himself instead of saying to the mother, "Quiet your child" or whatnot. So the sense of like understanding and acceptance, and not just tolerance, but acceptance, like that children, literally from when they're born, are part of their community, right? And not like, you cannot come to the mosque. What always strikes me about the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ is that he was so accepting of children in his mosque, to the point that his grandsons, Hassan Hussein, used to climb onto his back and ride like as if they were riding their mounts, kind of thing, while he was praying in sujood. And instead of kind of like pushing him away or pulling him off, he would stay. He would stay in sujood, And this is literally in like a jama'ah, like a congregational prayer. It's not even like a prayer that you're praying by yourself. So like everyone around him has like this prolonged sujood because of this one child, And it was never like, when he finished prayer, he said like how dirty you were or anything. That was just how it was.
Yeah.
That children were accepted in the mosque, because the mosque wasn't just like a place of worship; it was a community center. I think that what's lacking now is that sorry. I think that what's lacking now is that we treat mosques as these really spiritual places where nothing else can happen other than worship, which I mean is okay in a sense if we had other community spaces, but mosques should always be welcoming community spaces where so many things happen. Like the Prophet's mosque was a place where homeless people used to come to stay.
Yeah.
Like was a place where they used to plan and do meetings and prayers and so many things, right? So like young Muslims, children, babies were with the community from the day they were born. Maybe not the day they were born, but from when they're children, when they're babies, right? So I don't think that we're living up to that. No.
Yeah. Thank you for that. So before we go, I know you're working on your new book. Would you want to share that with our viewers?
Okay, so I have 3 new books that are coming out actually. So the first book is The Adventures of Malik and Amira. It's a hadith activity coloring book. So this is exactly what it says. It's a hadith activity and coloring book. So it starts off with the kids saying that they're from Canada, and then whatever child is looking at this, they can write in their name and where they live and circle on the map. And then it talks about like different hadiths of the Prophet ﷺ, but in a way that's really approachable for kids and like really on their level. Like for example, they're taking cupcakes to their neighbor, and then it talks about, and then the kid has to sort of cut out these things, color them, decorate the cupcakes, and then there's like a hands-on activity as well where we include the recipe for the cupcakes. So kids are encouraged to actually make them with their parents and go to their neighbors and give them the cupcakes. So a lot of these things are like really hands-on, really involved. So the kid isn't just like kind of scribbling in a coloring book and then moving on, throwing it to the side and moving on. So yeah, there's like a bunch of those activities. It talks about a lot of different things like cleanliness, charity, being kind to your neighbor, giving gifts, being generous with your guests. Like there's a lot of really great and like simple concepts, right? They're quite simple concepts that kids can grasp. But the activities help them really internalize like how you can practice these hadith or how you can implement these concepts as opposed to just telling them this is the hadith, memorize it, right?
Yeah.
Because kids really need to be shown how to like practically implement something. So, but it's also really fun. I don't want to make it sound boring. It's really fun, really simple
it looks
for kids.
very.
Like coloring. There's lots of coloring.
I would buy this book for myself.
Yeah, cut and paste. Yeah, so one of my favorite pages, it talks about respecting elders, and it talks about Malik and Mir's grandparents here. And there's like little cards that the kids can color and cut out and actually send to their grandparents or uncles or aunts or any elders that they respect. So like there's actually, you know, things that you can do with your child and they can practically learn from it and, you know, make someone's day by doing these activities. So yeah, hopefully kids will enjoy it.
So when is that coming out and where can our viewers buy it?
So the books will be available on the website, Bukhari's Bookshelf, and hopefully they'll be out before Ramadan this year. So yeah, I'll keep everyone updated by social media. I'll let them know.
Put the links down here.
Awesome.
To follow her.
So it's a great book for kids who struggle with their emotions, and it's important to see. Like I want kids to read this and know that it's important to see everything from like a positive perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you think something bad has happened, there's always kind of like something good that can actually come out of it. So yeah, this is Zayda's Jinkin. Hopefully kids will like it. Ruqayya loves it. I already read it to her. And she always taught when she's mad, she says, I have a cloud over my head now.
Ah.
So she's definitely implemented.
All right. So Jazakallah khairan for watching, and we'll be back again. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll take off. Assalamu alaikum.